Hello friends, I'm Nayyar from blogtoot.com, and today in this video I'll teach you some tips and tricks of using CSS to improve the design and user experience on your website. Now many times it happens that you want to do something on your website but you are not able to achieve that because your WordPress theme doesn't have the design functionality. So at that time these simple CSS tips and tricks can come in handy. And to watch this video or to follow this video, you don't need to know any HTML or CSS. It's all gonna be super simple, hopefully. Now without wasting any time, let's start doing it. So first of all, how to use it. So for this, we'll be using all free tools. In fact, there's no tool required at all. So we'll be using inspect element. So what is inspect element? So you can go to any website. So suppose this is your website, you can go to your website. And if you want to make some changes, for example, to this title, what you do is you just bring your mouse cursor over there, right click and type in or select in inspect. Okay. You will see this option. Now you can do one more thing. You can just press F12 on your keyboard and you will see this inspect element at the bottom. Now what you can do is you will see this cursor over here. If you can follow my mouse cursor, you will see this select item. So when you click on that, wherever you bring this, whatever you select, for example, if you select this button, now you can see on top of that button, you can see all the different details. For example, you can see the class name. What is the size? So here the size is 165 into 43. So width is 165 of this button and height is 43. The color of the text is white. Font is 17 pixels pop-ins. Background color is this red color EF3F49. Padding is 12 pixels top and bottom and 24 pixels left and right. So you can see all these details. So if you bring your cursor to this option, to new arrival, this text, you can see all the details over here as well. So we'll be using this tool and we'll see how to do some changes over here. We'll be seeing many different CSS elements. Now the first one that I want to show you is the alignment one. So we'll start with all the simple and very basic ones, and later on in this video we'll see some more advanced things. Now those are also going to be very simple. It's advanced but it will be very simple to follow along. So we'll see at the end of the video how to use backgrounds and how to use box, shadow, how to use different image in the, and how to position this, many different things. You will learn everything in detail, don't worry. Now first of all is alignment. So what I will do is I want to select this option, so you can simply select this thing. Now whatever changes you want to make, just select that thing. For example, if you want to make some changes to this text which is in the middle, click on that text. Now this text is by default aligned to in the middle. If you want to change the alignment to left or right, you can do that. So now let me increase the size of this thing. So you can see at the right hand side, you have all the different options over here. So these options are related to this text. You can see the font size and everything. Now what I want to do is I want to add some, alignment thing over here. So I'll just type in text align and I'll make it maybe left. Now as you can see, this text is now aligned left. If I just type in right over here, okay, now as you can see, this text is now aligned in the right side. So this is how you can do the basic alignment changes. Now what happens is whenever you do some changes like this, you should always copy this text. Okay, you should always copy this code. So just copy it from here, because when you refresh the website, everything will come back to normal. Everything will become normal, whatever or however it was. So this text was in the middle and now still it is in the center. Now if you want to make some actual changes on this website, what you have to do is you have to create a new file. You should always create a new file. Select this option. Let me bring it a little bit up above. You should create a new text document. So what I'll do is I'll select new and I'll select this text document. You can name it anything. So I'll just name it text. I'll just name it CSS and I'll paste in that code over here. So this is the code. Now what you should be doing is above every single code, you should add some comment over here so that you know what this code is for. So I can type in something like hero section, because that was hero section. So hero section subtitle, because that was subtitle in the hero section. So I know what this code is for. Okay, so this is how you enter a comment. You just put a / few asterisks inside that, whatever your comment is. Then again you end this with few asterisks and this /. Then after that you have your code. Now what you can do is you can copy this thing, come back to your website. Now you can click on this option, customize, or you can use some other free plugins, free custom CSS plugins as well. But I think this thing is pre-built in every single theme. So we can use this option. You can simply click on customize. Now here from the left hand side bottom, you will see this custom CSS option. There are many different codes already present over here. So I'll paste this one at the bottom. Now as you can see, as soon as we paste in this code, this text is now aligned towards right. Now what you have to do is you can now just change everything from here. If you just select this right and type in left over here. Now as you can see, this text is aligned towards left. If you just type in center over here, this is now aligned in center. Okay. Rest all the text will be same. If you just make it, for example, right. Okay. Only that text will change. For example, only this text is aligned to right. Rest all the other thing on your website is same. Okay. Now we can publish this page. Now alignment for text and everything is very simple, but for button, it is a little bit trickier. So let me just show you that. So I'll right click on this button, click on inspect. Okay, let's see whether we have selected this button. Now if you select this button and if you click on this option, for example, if you click on this plus button, which you can see if you follow my cursor, click on that plus button and let's add a new code over here. So I'll type in text align left. Now as you can see, no changes is taking place in this button. Okay, because button is for button and for images and something like that, which is a block element, you cannot do these changes. So for that you can select the wrapper. Okay, here is the wrapper. As you can see, Elementor button wrapper. So you can select basically the div class. You'll see this div class is equal to. So you have to select the div class inside which this button is present. So when you click on that, when you hover over that div class, you'll see that it is selecting the button section. So click on that div class. Now click on this button, this plus button. And over here you can type in this thing text align. Now type in left. Now as you can see, the button is aligned towards left. Or whatever you want to type in over here, right, center. So if you like this code, just copy it over here, paste it on your website, and this will make the button left align or right align. Now what I'll do is I'll delete this code because I don't want this to be left and right align. It's not looking good. I just wanted to show you. So delete this thing, click on publish. Okay, now let me refresh this page. Alright guys, now let's move on to our next element, which is display element. And in display element, I'm looking at only one specific element, which is display none. So this is very useful, especially for me and in many different cases. So what we'll do is we'll select this option, especially in e-commerce type of websites. For example, this is the perfect example over here. Now here, if you go to the shop page as well, if you click on shop page. Now this is the Ocean WP. By default in Ocean WP, you have all these things. Now in shop page, I don't want to display this select button or add to cart button. So what I can do is I can just right click on that button, click on inspect. Now when you select this button, you'll see all the code related to this button at the right hand side. Now here, as you can see, there is one display property already present over here, display inline block. So we have to make it display none because I want to hide this button. So what you can do is you can select this inline block, delete it and type in none. Now as you can see, as soon as we type in none, that button is now gone. So what you can do is you can just copy this much code from here, come back to your CSS, click on custom CSS and paste in this code at the bottom. Now remember one thing, let me first see this thing. Okay, so this code starts from here. You can always give it some comment at the top. Now you don't need all the other codes. You can delete them if you want, for example float and background color and everything, because we just wanted this code display none. Rest all the other codes you can, if you want, you can delete them. Okay, just like this. If you want, you can leave them. If you want, you can delete them. I recommend only selecting the one, or leave the one which you have done the changes to. Now click on publish. That button is gone. Similarly, if I don't want this category name, this t-shirt is the category name. If I don't want that, I can right click on that, click on inspect. Or you can do this option as well. Click on this select option and bring your cursor on that text. You'll see that text over here. Now what I'll do is I'll select this option. On top of that, as you can see, this is the category. This is displaying the category. So I'll click on that, and here also you can see display is equal to block. So I'll select this block and I'll type in none. Now again, that thing is now gone. So I can again copy this much code and paste it over here. Okay, and again, if you want, you can get rid of all the other code. Just leave this one display none and click on publish. So this thing can be very useful. So many times, for example, this suppose in the menu, I have this menu and on top of that I have this top bar, but I don't know how to get rid of this top bar, how to delete that or how to disable that top bar. So here also this thing can be useful. You can just right click on that top bar, click on inspect. Okay. just select the one, okay, from bottom, select the one where everything is getting selected. Now as you can see, this is the one ID, div ID is equal to top bar wrap. I'm selecting this option. Now at the right hand side you have all the other options, all the options related to this option, and here for this div it is blog. So what I'll do is this time I'll click on this plus button again, and here I'll type in display, okay, and after that I'll type in none. Now as you can see, that thing is gone. Okay, that top bar is gone. Again, I'll copy this thing, paste it at the bottom and click on publish. Cut this thing. Now even if I refresh this page, let's see what happens. Okay, now as you can see, that thing is still not present over here. So that is now permanently gone. So you can do this thing as well. So this is also a very useful property, especially for me. Now let's quickly move on to another one because these are very simple. So another one is color, which is again very simple. So for that also, for example, you can see this button color. You can right click on this color, click on inspect. Now whenever you click on inspect, you'll see this color over here, background color. If you want to change this thing, simply delete it and type in your own color. For example, let's make it, you have all the options over here. If you want to make it brown, when you type in brown, as you can see, the color is changed. If you type in something else, for example, blue or maybe coral, select that option, and now as you can see, the color is changed. We also have some border over here, so if you want, you can also change that color. So this is how you do the changes over here. Simply change that color, and again, whenever you have to simply copy this code. If you want to have these changes, paste those code under custom CSS. Similarly, you can change color of almost anything. For example, if you want to change the color of this text, select this option, select tool, click on that text, and here as you can see, the color is white. If I want to change the color to maybe black, I can just type in black, or I can just type in the code of the black. Okay, now as you can see, when you type in black, that text is now black. Okay, so you can do these changes as well. So color is very simple, and yeah, for example, let's select this thing. You can also change the background color and icon color if you want. So I'll select this select tool. I'll select this icon. This is a font awesome icon. If I click on that icon, and let's see where is that color. Okay, I'll select this option. Okay, I option from bottom. Let's see where we have the color. Okay, so here is the color. So I'll change this color. I'll make it maybe, let's see, aqua, beige, black, not black. Let's make it blue. Now as you can see, this color is now changed to blue. You can simply copy this code, paste it under custom CSS, and this color will be changed to blue. If you want to change the background color, again select tool, we'll select the background, we'll click on this option. Now at the right hand side, you'll see the background color is this red color. I want to make it some maybe blue color. Okay, so this is how you do it. Again, you can copy this code, paste it under custom CSS if you want these changes on your website. So this is color again, which is very simple. You can also change menu, footer, all the other colors. For example, if you can simply inspect element on the menu, you can change the menu color. Menu color is white over here. Suppose if you want black menu color, you can type in hashtag 000, which is the black color code. Now as you can see, the menu is black, and on that menu, because the title and everything, the menu elements were also black. If you want to change them to white, you can right click on that, click on inspect. Okay, now let's change this text to white. So let's see, here it is. Select this option, type in FFF for white. Now as you can see, all the text on the icon is now white. So you can do these things. Okay, so if you want, you can do it like this. And whatever, again I'm saying, whatever changes you want, simply copy that code which I have shown you multiple times, paste it under custom CSS so that changes are applied on your website. So this was also very simple. Now let's move on. Let me just refresh it because I don't want these changes on the website. Alright guys, now let's see fonts. So fonts are also very useful. By default, you have this font. So I can simply right click on this, click on inspect. So when you right click on and click on inspect, and or when you select this select tool, you can see this is Poppins font 90 pixels Poppins, and you can first let me click on that. Now at the right hand side, you'll see this Poppins font size and everything. Now you can change the font, and if you want to know all the other fonts, you can do one thing. You can go to this website, fonts.google.com. You will see all the Google fonts available over here, and I would recommend you to type in something. For example, just type in a word or a letter or a sentence. For example, let me just copy and paste in this sentence over here, type sentence. So it will display this sentence in all different fonts. You can see we have Montserrat, we have Lato, all the amazing fonts. We have Roboto, Poppins, which these are all famous, very useful fonts. Now suppose if I like this font Lato, so what I can do is, this is the name of the font Lato. So I can come back to my website, which is over here. I can select this font family, click on this, delete this Poppins and type in Lato. Now as you can see, the font family is changed. If you want, you can select Roboto. Okay, now again the font family is changed. If you want, you can select Railway, which is another amazing font. Now as you can see, this font family is also changed. Then after that, you can also change the font size. By default it is 90 pixels. If you want, you can make it 120 pixels. This is now more bigger. If you want, you can just decrease the size to 20 or 10 pixels. Now as you can see, this is smaller. Now let me make it 100 pixels. Okay, you can also do more changes. For example, you can change the font weight, which means that you can make it lighter or bolder. 900 is the boldest. If you type in 100 over here, now as you can see, your font is very lighter. If you type in 300 over here, a little bit bolder. If you type in 500, this is the normal font size, 500. If you type in 700, a little bit bolder. And if you type in 900, the boldest that you can get. Now as you can see, this font is also using text shadow, but we'll see text shadow at the end, not now. So let's not touch that thing over here. So this is the font. You can also change fonts on the button as well. If you right click on this button, click on inspect. Okay, so for this font also, because on this button, this discover now font is present. So if you want, you can do some changes over here as well. Okay, so here also you can see this is using Poppins and everything. If you want, you can change this from here. You can simply click on this plus button and change this thing. So you'll type in font family, okay, like this, and you can just select any font family. For example, instead of Poppins, I want to select Roboto. Now as you can see, the font on the button is now completely changed. So you can do this thing as well. Okay, then after that, let's move on to padding and margin, which is also very important. So for that, let's select any section. For example, let's select this section. So you can simply right click on that, click on inspect. Now padding and margin color, you can see if you go at the right hand side and the bottom, you'll see the margin color will be displayed this orange color and padding color will be this green color. So wherever you select this select tool, whatever tool you hover over, whatever text or thing or element you hover over, you'll see what is the margin and padding available. So here as you can see at the bottom, there is some margin available and you can see the exact 20 pixels bottom. At the right hand side, you can see margin bottom 20 pixels. When you hover over some other element, for example, here as you can see below this text also we have some margin bottom 20 pixels. If you select this maybe this title, whatever you select, you can see all the margin and padding in this row or in this element. If you select this entire row, as you can see we have some padding, this green color at the top. So there is some padding available over there. So if you want to change this padding, so this is 50 pixels padding top. If you want to increase or decrease this padding, you can first of all click on that, go at the top and search for that padding. Here it is, padding. Now if you see some number like this on padding, it means top, right, bottom, left. Okay, top, right, bottom, left. So for top it is 50 pixels. I want to increase this to 150 pixels. Now as you can see, not 1500, 150. Now as you can see, the padding at top is now increased. If you want to add some padding at left and right, you can do that as well. So you can change some padding like this. Similarly, you can also change the margin. For example, let's see where I think we had margin below this text. So let's select this select tool. Yeah, we have some margin below this thing. So I'll click on this. Then I'll search for that margin. Here it is. Margin bottom 20 pixels. Okay, if you want maybe not 20, if you want 0. Now as you can see, you can just type in 0 pixels and that bottom margin is now gone. So you can use these things as well. Then after that padding, and then after that we have one more important thing, which is that element is also called important element. Let's see why it is called that. For example, let's select this price text over here. Let's see the inspect element for this. Now let me explain you one very simple concept or rule of CSS. Now if we select this option, price option, and let's search, here it is, the price color is this color. If you just type in something else, for example, instead of this color, you can type in red, but there will be no changes on the website. As you can see, this is not getting changed. So in this case, what you can do is after red, you can type in exclamation mark important. Okay, type in this thing and let me come back over there. Okay, this has changed this color. Okay, this thing which is in between this thing. So similarly, you can select this first text and you can change this color to, instead of this green, again you can type in red, but there will be no changes on the website. So whenever something like this happens, you can type in this thing. After red, you can type in important. Okay, now as you can see, this is changed successfully. So this is very useful, but I think you should not use it many times, because it can cause some problem on your website. So for this amount, wherever on your website amount will be used, it will be in the red color, because we have set this thing to important. So whatever color is preset in the website, it will change that and it will make it red, because we have set this as the important option. So sometimes you can face this problem if you want to change the text but it is not getting changed. After that, you can type in this thing, important option. Okay, so this is also a very important one. Then after that, let's see container. So what is container? Let me show you. If you go to your blog page especially, you'll see the container. Now container is the, for example, now let me cut this thing. Now container is the width in which this content should be present. For example, as you can see, this is the width. At the left hand side we have some gap, at the right hand side we have some gap, and in between we have this content. If you see the menu, still the content is starting over here. This also the content is starting over here. This image also the content is starting over here. At the left and right we have some gap. So you can do one thing, you can increase or decrease the container. Let me show you. So you can right click anywhere, click on inspect. Now we have clicked on the perfect place, and as you can see here, the class container is used. Okay, as you can see, class container, and you can see the container class option over here. This is the option. At the right hand side you can see container, and the width of the container is set to 1200. If you want to increase or decrease this thing, you can do it. For example, let's make it 800. Now as you can see, all the content will have to adjust within 800 pixels. Okay, as you can see, now we have a lot of gap at left and right, and everything will have to adjust inside 800 pixels. Okay, so you can have this option as well. If you want to change this to maybe 1400, okay, you can do that, 1400. Now there is another option which is very useful, maximum width 90%. Now this is very important. If you just untick this thing, now whatever you type in, it will just keep on increasing. But we are setting one limit over here. So whatever number I type in, it should not go, it should be maximum of 90% width. Let me explain you one more thing. If you type in one more thing, minimum width, min width, and if you type in, for example, 70%, okay, or maybe 80%, let's type in 80%. Now again, if you go to width and type in 800 pixels, now there is no changes taking place over here. Why? Because we are saying that the minimum width should be 80%. It cannot go below 80%. Okay, so that is the reason why it is happening, and maximum width should be 90%. I hope you understood this thing. If you don't understand this thing, I'm sorry, but this is how it is. If you again untick this minimum width, this will become 800. But if you add this minimum width option over here, 80% or anything like that, this will make your website like this. So container is also very useful. Okay, as you can see, sometimes some websites use a very narrow container, sometimes some websites use a very broad container. So you can use this maximum width and minimum width over here. That will be very useful for you. So this was container. Then after that, let's move on to position. Now position also can be very useful. For example, if you see this menu, when I scroll down, that menu disappears. But on many websites you might have seen, sticky menu. For example, this website, when I scroll down or up, the menu is still sticking with me. Okay, you can see at top the menu is always present. If you want to make your website menu sticky or fixed, you can use this position option. So what you can do is you can right click on your menu, click on inspect element. Okay, now as you can see, this is perfectly selecting the entire menu. Now at the right hand side, you can see position is set to relative. I'll delete that and I'll make it fixed. Okay. Now when you type in fixed, when you scroll up or down, the menu is sticking with you. Okay, as you can see, menu is sticking with you. So if you want to make your menu fixed, you can use this option as well. Then after that, let me first refresh it. I don't want to do that. Then after that, we have, okay, there could be one more thing in position fixed. For example, this thing that you see, this button, this back to top button. When you click on this button, it brings you to the top of the page. So this button is always floating over here, okay, in the corner, in the right bottom right corner. So you can do some changes over here. For example, if I want to make this icon, this LinkedIn icon, I can click on this LinkedIn inspect element. I can bring this icon, or I can make this icon always floating or fixed in a position. Let me show you. Now I'll select this option, iClass Ocean WP LinkedIn. I can go at top, click on this plus button, and let's try. We are just experimenting something. Let's type in position over here. So position fixed. Okay. Now when you type in fixed, as you can see, that menu is always present at the bottom. But what I want to do is I want to do some changes over here. Okay. I want this menu in the left side. So after that, I'll type in left. Okay. And let's add maybe 20 pixels over here. Now as you can see, this icon, you cannot see it properly because it is getting hidden over here. Then again I'll do something. I'll type in bottom 20. Okay. Now you can see the menu. Let me type in 20. Now you can see the icon. So what I'm saying this right now is the position should be fixed. Just leave 20 pixels from the left and 20 pixels from the bottom, which you can see over here. If I right click on this button now, I think you should see this 20 pixels. Let me show you. Now as you can see, 20 pixels position is added. If you can see this in the bottom right corner, 20 pixels is added at the left hand side and 20 at the right hand side. Okay, so this is how it works. Now that icon is fixed in that position. If I cut this thing, scroll down or up, you can always see that LinkedIn icon. Okay, so if you want, you can try something like that. Now let's see sidebar. Let me first refresh it. So this is the width of the sidebar. If you want to increase or decrease the width of the sidebar or anything like that, you can do that as well. Right click over here, click on inspect. Okay, now perfectly the entire sidebar is selected, and as you can see, the ID over here is right sidebar. Now the width over here is 28 pixels. Now let's do some experiment over here. Let's type in 50 pixels, half the page. Okay. Now obviously when you do 50 pixels, this will not fit in over here because here we have only 28 pixels space left, 28% space left, I'm sorry. And when you make that thing bigger, it will obviously go down. So if you want to bring both these sections side by side, we'll have to decrease the width of this content area to also 50%. So we'll right click over here, click on inspect, maybe a little bit down, click on inspect. All right, let's select the entire, okay, this is the content wrap. Okay, as you can see, ID, div ID, content wrap. Okay, here it is. Under this thing, we have this div ID primary. Okay, when you see this code, and here you can see the width is 72 pixels. So I can change this to 50 pixels or 50% again and again. I'm saying pixels, 50%. Now you can see this thing is now the content is at the left hand side. The sidebar is at the right hand side. So you can do these things as well. Okay, so this is 50% both the sides. So you can do some changes in the sidebar. You can change the color of the sidebar. You can change the color, or this, if you see there is some border in between this thing, this light gray border, you can change those things as well. There are many things that can be done. I'm just showing you a little bit of a small example, and you can just learn from this and you can do some experiment by yourself. Now let's see backgrounds. So let me first refresh it again. Now for this, I'll use this website. Okay, this agency.nayyar.com, and there is a new tutorial coming very soon wherein I show you how you can design this website, and this is a very advanced tutorial. So make sure you don't miss that thing. I think after 1 or 2 weeks, this tutorial will be coming. There is a lot of advanced things going on over here. Obviously, when you see that website, you cannot see that, you cannot make out that. But there are many things going on this website in background especially. So I'll explain you how to do that in that tutorial. Make sure you watch that. Now for the background color, we have already seen how you can change the background color, how you can change the background color of the footer or the menu or anything. Now let's see how we can add some image in the background. So just like this, I'll use this same website. I'll go back to the home page. And let me use this featured products because here there is nothing in the background. So we can use this thing. So I'll inspect element. Okay, now we have selected this entire row, this entire section. So what I'll do is now I'll add something in the background. So I can click on this plus button and I can just type in background And you can first add a background color just like this. If you select black, now as you can see, background color black is added. Now I don't want to add background color, but so what I'll do is I'll just type in background. Instead of background color, I'll just type in background. And instead of this color, I'll type in URL. When you type in URL, you'll get this option URL, and after that you have these brackets. Now inside this bracket, you have to enter the link of the image. So let me do one thing. Let me open a new tab and type in maybe Google PNG icon, Google logo. Okay, so let's go to images. Maybe let's select a little bit smaller one. These are all big ones. All right, let's see this one. Okay, this looks good. So what I'll do is I'll open this image in a new tab. Right click, open image in a new tab. This is how the image looks like. So I'll copy the link, come back to the website, and under this URL thing, I'll paste in the link. Okay, now as you can see, we have that image in the background. Now let's see some more options or more elements related to background. Let me make it a little bit smaller. So first of all, we have this image in the background. Now what I want to do is, this image is getting repeated. Okay, as you can see, we want only one. So I'll type in background repeat, and after that I'll type in none. So I don't want this background to repeat. So I'll type in background repeat, no repeat. Okay, so background is not getting repeated. Now let's change the size of this icon. If you want, you can make it bigger. If you want, you can make it smaller. So I'll type in background size. Okay, now you can set this to cover, you can set this to contain auto. You have many different options, preset options over here, as you can see. Or you can do one thing, you can type in some percentage. For example, let's type in 50%. Okay, this is how it will look. If I type in 10%, you can see that small icon there at the top right corner, at the top left corner. And you can also change the position. By default, it is in the top left corner. If you want, you can select this option, background position. And let's make it maybe center. So just type in center, and after that again type in center. Now as you can see, this is center. You can type in something like top left or top right. It was already top right left, so let's make it top right. Now as you can see, this icon in the top right corner. So you can do these changes as well, and you can also have some custom positions. So instead of this top left, top right, center, you can type in some number. So for this, we'll just get rid of this background position and we'll type in new element, background position X and background position Y. So first background position X. So obviously on the X axis, what should be the position? On the Y axis, what should be the position? So horizontally and vertically, what should be the position? So first background position X. Let me type in again, background position X. And let me type in, you have to enter everything in pixels. So I'll type in 100 pixels. Now you can see the position. You can also type in negative. For example, if you type in -100, now that is hidden. So I'll type in maybe -50 or maybe -70. Now that is hidden half. Okay. Now I can change the background position on Y axis. So I'll type in background position Y. And after that, let me type in maybe 100 pixels. Okay, now as you can see, it is coming down 100 pixels. So you can do all these changes. This is just for fun, but you can use this thing to make your website really amazing. For example, in this tutorial, I have used that thing to make it really amazing. For example, if you see this image over here, this 3-4 line icon, this is also done using that background thing, and it is not done using any of this code. It is done using Elementor. So make sure you watch that tutorial. This thing is also, if you see this background thing, this orange color big circle, that is an image which we have used in the background, and we have set a custom position and a custom size just to make it look like this. So let me very quickly move on to the last one, which I think is the most useful one, and let's see contact forms for that. So by default, when you use any contact form plugin, you get a very simple design like this one, but you can design it really amazing. So first of all, what I want to do is, you should always design your form like this one. Let me show you this agency website which is coming. Okay, this form looks much professional, much better in terms of design and everything than this regular form. So you should always use this placeholder instead of this label. Okay, this thing which is at the top is called label, which is inside this box is called placeholder. So let me do one thing. Let me get rid of these labels. So I'll right click on that label, select that label, and display block, I'll type in display none. Now all the labels are gone. Now you should always disable the label only if you have something in the inside this thing, inside this placeholder, like this name, email, message, so that a person knows what this field is for, what this field is for. Okay, so maybe it's not good idea to get rid of that label. Let the label be as it is. Now let me do some changes in this box. So I'll right click on this box and click on inspect. Now let me do some changes in the border. So I'll select this input. At the right hand side, let me make it a little bit bigger. We have all the options. Now by default, as you can see, we have border all the sides 1 pixel solid this color. I will type one thing. I just want border at the bottom. So I'll type in, instead of border, I'll type in border bottom. Okay. Now as you can see, you have border only at the bottom, and above that thing, I'll just type in border none. Okay, now this looks much better. So what I'm doing over here is not this color, border none. Okay, this. So I'm doing first, I'm saying I don't want any border. Then after that, I'm typing in this code. I just want border at the bottom 1 pixels solid this color. Okay, and let me change this color. Let me make it more lighter. Maybe this F7, F7, F7. Okay, it is very lighter. I think let it be whatever it was, this color. Now you can do few more changes. For example, by default, you can, if you see the sides of this border, it is getting curved. Okay, because we have some radius over here, border radius. So I'll delete that thing as well. So I'll type in border radius and I'll type in 0. Now as you can see, these are very simple line. So what is border radius? If I type in 100 pixels over here, these lines are now more circular. If you see, you can see that very easily. Okay, so it makes your box circular. It makes the corners of your box rounder and circular. That is what this border radius do. If you just type in 0, it will make it very sharp. So it will make it rectangular. Let me show you that thing over here in this box. So this is a square box. So I'll inspect element over here. Let's select this box. If you want, you can select some border radius over here. So I'll type in border radius and I'll type in maybe 100 pixels. Okay, now you can see this box, this is become circular box. So you can use this border radius. If I type in 0, it will be very sharp. The corners of this thing will be sharp and this will be a rectangular or a square box. So that is what this border radius does. So in contact form, this thing can be very useful. You can also change the contact button option. So you can inspect element. Let me do one thing. Let me make this button full size, 100% width. So I'll type in width 100%. Now as you can see, this button is full size. And let's do some more thing. Let's change the background color. So just type in background, type in some color like this, whatever color you like. Okay, maybe let's maybe let's select okay, let's select this color, and I want to change the color of this text submit to white. So I'll type in color and I'll just type in white. Fine. And you can also add some border shadow, box shadow. Let's do that. So just type in box shadow. Now in box shadow, first of all, you have to type in 2 values. First is a horizontal offset and second is vertical offset. Let me explain you. If I type in just 10 pixels, then after that again, I'll type in 10 pixels. And after that, you have to type in some color. For example, you can just type in this black color and this is how it will look. Now, as you can see, horizontal offset 10, vertical offset 10 and this color. Now, if you want to make this color transparent or if you want to increase or decrease some transparency, you can paste in that RGBA value. Now in RGBA value, what happens is you can change the transparency. So you'll see under RGBA, there are 253, 14, some digit. Okay. And the 4th digit is the transparency. So by default, it is 1. If you want to decrease the transparency, you can type in 0.5. Now, as you can see, that is become very lighter. If you type in 0.1, that is become even more lighter, more transparent. So if you want, you can have a border shadow like this, box shadow like this. And let's decrease the horizontal and vertical offset. So instead of 10, let me type in 2 for both horizontal and vertical. Okay. Now very light, and let me increase or decrease the transparency a little bit. Now you can see the shadow like this. Okay. let's open a new tab and type in RGBA to hex. Okay, just type in this thing RGBA to hex. Use this option, hex color tool, and here you can see whatever color you like. For example, let me just select this color. Okay, suppose if I want this color, you can see the RGBA value of this color. So copy this. Now if you want to learn anything about CSS, there is an amazing website, w3schools.com, and there are many free tutorials available on YouTube, and there are many other websites like W3 Schools. This is not the only one. So for example, whatever element you want to learn CSS, you can just go to Google and type in CSS. For example, as you can see, CSS box shadow. Now as you can see the results. Now most of the times I've seen W3 Schools is always at the top, so you can click on this link. Now this will very neatly explain you this thing. For example, if you click on try it yourself, now as you can see, this is explained, and with all the text, a div element with a shadow. The first value is the horizontal offset and the second value is the vertical offset. The shadow color will be inherited from the text color and everything. So all the different options are explained to you. So whatever CSS element you want, for example, CSS, CSS position. Let's see CSS position, W3 Schools, CSS layout. So different positions, how you can use that position. You can click on try it yourself, and you can use that. You can see that thing, and you can obviously try it for yourself. Alright guys, so I wanted to make this tutorial very small, but I think I just made it a little bit bigger. So sorry for that. I wanted to cover only few things, but I just kept on adding more and more things. There are many more things obviously available that we have not even seen. So if you want to learn anything about CSS, you can do your own research, but this was a very short tutorial, only focusing on few things, just to explain you that you can do these things, like you can do these things using simple CSS tools or simple CSS code. So I hope you guys find this video helpful. If you find this video helpful, give a thumbs up to this video, subscribe and click on the bell so that you don't miss any future updates. Whatever I post in the future, only useful videos, you can get all the notifications. Now if you have any doubt, any comments, any suggestions for me, you can leave them in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching guys. See you in the next video.